What's up, everyone? Welcome to a True Underground Story podcast. I'm your host, Timmy Burner. This is presented by Overlooked Artist Hosting. And today I'm with Ceeofdreams.
Hi.
And I'm going to play a quick snippet off her song Body Language, and we will start the interview.
Can you handle it? Put your hands on it. Can you stand on it? All of the things you say, why you grabbing it? You so passionate. You can have all of me, cause you love me the right way. I can't take it, turning me on. Just with that look all on your face, I can't fake it. You know what I'm on with all of you.
That was a snippet off Body Language by Ceeofdreams on all platforms. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, Ceeofdreams. Where are you from?
I am from Dayton, Ohio. I'm from the Gym City, born and raised.
Yeah. What was your childhood like for you growing up in Dayton, Ohio?
My childhood was so art-filled. I feel fortunate that I was able to, and not just able to, but encouraged to do my art, whatever it was at the time. I kind of grew up thinking like everybody just had it like that. And that's not the case. Like as an adult, I'm seeing like that's not the norm. So I'm like really grateful for all the opportunities I had growing up to just explore my creativity, make music or paint or dance or act or write or whatever my heart desired. I was given that platform to do it. So
hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been making music now?
So professionally, I would say, man, I can't even say since I graduated. I graduated high school in 2010. So that would give you about like my age range or whatever. But professionally, I would say since I graduated, but I was doing things professionally through high school too. So I guess since high school.
Oh, how did you come about your stage name Ceeofdreams?
Ceeofdreams comes from, because my name is Sierra, so everybody calls me C, and then I'm an Aquarius, and so that's a water bearer. So I feel like I'm what you need. Like you need water to survive, you need art to survive. So it's just me, a sea of me, all the dreams, all the possibilities of whatever my crazy mind thinks of. Let that be your water.
So you say you're big into the whole art scene. Do you go to a lot of art shows?
Yeah, I know the pandemic kind of changed a lot of that, but like I stay at Art Has No Rules in the city, and I go to Front Street a lot, take my kids around. And then I don't know if you see the art in the background, but I paint hella, and so do my kids. So if I don't get out the house, we create something inside. Always.
Anything to pass the time that makes you use your mind.
Oh, yes.
What was some of the music you kind of grew up listening to, whether it was something you sought after or your parents had you listening to?
Yeah, man, my parents have such an eclectic taste in music that I really had to give it up to them for exposing me to stuff. My dad was working at like high schools when I was growing up, so he would have the mixtapes that he would have like the explicit versions or whatever I thought I was getting on the radio. Like students was making mixtapes back then. That was still a thing, like cassette tapes,
right,
or CDs. So, you know, I was just exposed to everything, hip hop, jazz. I heard like Chinese opera as a kid, and you could imagine like, or Oriental opera. I can't say it was literally Chinese, but it was just some unheard of, like just other languages. I don't think it was nothing. Even if they would let me decide if I liked it or not. They play country, house music. Like I said, my parents play gospel. There was not a genre we didn't touch in my household. So I kind of got to decide for myself, like, we're going to give you all the good music. You could decide if you're going to soak it up or not. So I think I soaked up most of it, most of what my parents tried to give me. They are big, like I said, influenced by jazz. So my parents got me hip to like Rochelle Farrell and, you know, your Earth, Wind and Fires and things like that, Prince. my mom is a super, super big Prince fan, so I had no choice. But I was watching Purple Rain as a baby. Like, I had no choice.
Hey.
But I'm a 90s baby, so all the Drew Hill, Mint Condition, Brian McKnight's, I'm big. I mention all men. I guess I do, not to throw no shade to the lady R&B singers, because I could go down the list of those too. But I guess as a 90s baby, I gravitated more to what was coming out at the time. Even Criss Cross, like I can remember that being played in my head start very early on. Cassette tapes with the whole backwards fit.
Yeah.
Like
That was a whole.
So I got like a plethora of genres growing up, whether it was what was current or just what my parents loved. Like I got a lot, big melting pot of things.
Helps you be more cultured.
Absolutely.
I think that's always nice to be able to be diverse in what you know and what.
Yeah. Music is a universal language, man. It's what ties us all together. So, like how you could hear a song in a language you don't even know and it moves you. Like, we connect in that. We're supposed to connect in that way, I feel like.
Would you say just because you kind of growing up around art, that's what made you want to pursue making music? Or do you just really have like a love for making music compared to doing like your paintings or dancing or anything?
I would say a little bit of both. Like, because I've been able to do it basically all my life, it's like all I want to do. But I also chose, like, for myself to focus in on my music. Not to say like you said, I do a bunch of other things, but nobody else in my family, like in my immediate family, is like a vocalist or a singer, songwriter, or anything. So even though I was encouraged to express myself, I wasn't necessarily encouraged to pick this as an occupation, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was fully like my own dreams and desires to pick that. But so yeah, a little bit of both. Definitely influenced by just used to rocking how I'm rocking, but it's a choice daily as an adult to be like, okay, this is what you're gonna do to live, not just survive, but to thrive.
Yeah. What did your family think when you told them that you were gonna, and friends, what did your family and friends think when you decided to tell them that you were gonna start pursuing music professionally?
I think everybody was expecting it. I would like you know how you have your Christmas list as a kid. Yeah. Like I would ask for a band as a child, and my mom would be like, "Sierra, that's slavery. Like I can't just buy people and just have a band at the house for you." I didn't think it was that complicated though. So my parents, as soon as I was like 18, old enough to sing in the clubs and the bars and stuff, I was there. I was there with whoever was ready to let me perform and sing. So it was no shock to anybody. I kind of was already always doing some form of music anyway. I started off doing like spoken word, a combination of spoken word and singing with a group I grew up with called SK. And we performed locally. I don't know if you're familiar with Marlon Shackleford, but we did a lot with the Street Soldiers and the Peace Ambassadors coming up in the Dayton area and surrounding areas. So, it was no shock to anybody, friends, family, anybody. Everybody already knew. I was singing at my high school graduation. Anything that was going on, Cece about to be up there singing. So it was not a shock. It was more so like, okay, we already knew this. Like you just now accepting that this is what you're gonna do. It was like my coming out. Nobody was shocked. They're like, oh, okay, cool.
Makes sense.
Right.
What do your family think of the music that you've made?
My family, I feel like they're proud of me. I actually go and like after I leave my rituals, like after leaving the studio, and I feel comfortable. It's not normally right after a raw, unless I'm like, oh my God, I don't care. It's not mixed down. I need y'all's feedback. I need y'all to hear this. But that's like my routine thing outside of doing that with my team. Like I go to my parents' house and we sit in the music room and I play them songs, and I go to my uncle's house and plug my phone up and I play it for him. And it's always like a beautiful experience to get that like feedback back now. Because they are proud of me, and they are like, oh, they're asking me, well, when you going to, when's the next one dropping? When can I hear something new? It's not, that feels good to be on that part of it now, that it's not just me like, oh, hurry up and listen to this. Like my people want to hear it just as much as I want to let them hear it. So right. Nice.
So I asked this question here recently. Started asking this question here recently. Do you have any current like celebrity crushes?
Oh, my feelings got hurt with my last celebrity crush. I had my celebrity crush definitely is D Smoke, but he got married. He got hitched up on me. So I've always loved Zoe Saldana. She's like my woman crush Wednesday, every Wednesday.
She is very gorgeous.
Yes, but D Smoke hurt my feelings. So
Went ahead and
honorable
got
mention.
about it. Who are some artists that you currently have in your rotation at the moment that you listen to?
I have been listening to low key, and it's gonna be shocking to some people. I've been listening to a little bit of Jacquees. I'm laughing just because he gets such a bad name because he calls himself the king of R&B, but he got a few bangers, and you know. After you might have a little sip on the late night, you can pop on a couple of Jacquees joints and they drop. So don't judge me, community. But I fucks with Jacquees a little bit. I listen to him. I've been listening to some Layla Hathaway. It's been giving me very, very peaceful vibes. I've been listening to, I'm very much still a SoundCloud listener. I have music on SoundCloud. There's nowhere else. And so I get hip to, I can't even tell you the person's name. It's like Mr. Hot 3000. It's not even a real name on the account, but he's always dropping gems. So whoever you are on SoundCloud has been giving me life. And Steve Lacy from the internet, he's been giving me life lately too.
Who's probably one of your favorite artists growing up listening to, would you say?
It's kind of like a three-way tie between Amy Winehouse, Erykah Badu, and Bilal. They're like my core three, like influential to my sound and like my writing. I started as like a little baby fan, but definitely influenced that.
Hey, you're fine. You actually answered the next question unintentionally.
Oh, sure. Hey.
Look at that. So you've gotten to work with multiple artists since making music. Who's probably been one of your favorite artists to work with, whether it's just because you had fun on the track or just the vibes and energy from getting to work with them?
Man, I would say I had the most fun when I made Energy. It was super like just spur of the moment and like everything just happened to align. That was the first time I met that particular producer. His name's Mojo. And we stayed up like, I think we might have all linked up around like 11 or midnight, but we stayed up all night. And I wrote that song right then and there, and we recorded it all night, bounced down at like 7:30 in the morning. And that was my most gratifying time. I like, outside of like with my children, the best time I didn't sleep at all. And I didn't even want to go to sleep when I could. I wanted to keep listening to it. And is there anything I could change? I'm like, no, I'm just so in love with how it is. And then it hits so different when you're doing studio work and your producer gives you something like usable. So like, you know, everybody has their different setups and stuff, but sometimes you may get just the rawest of the raw. You got takes you don't even need in the stems. You got just a lot of bulk. He trimmed the fat. He put a light mix on it. Like it was basically ready to be mastered after that whole, night period. So that was super, super fun. As far as collaborating, I've collaborated with more musicians, I feel like, than artists in Dayton. I would like to change that. I had a great time with collaborating with Candy Bars and Poetic. Those are my two sisters. But I want to get some more like collaborations in there. I love working with different producers and different musicians. Like that's like my core, because a lot of my experience was performing live. So that's where we built those relationships. Like, oh, let's try to translate this into the studio,
Right.
But I want to kind of add some more names to that list. I want to collab with some more, especially some more people from the Gem City. I just feel like it's time for that.
I definitely hope that you do get to do some more collaborating, because you do have a wonderful voice. So
thank you.
I think you'd be a great asset to anyone's song. If money wasn't an issue and you could get a feature from any artist, who would it be?
For sure, Erica. Like right now, immediately. Mama Badu, hit me with that bad boy feature tonight. Fly her out, fly her in, fly me out. I get flued out. Let's go wherever we gotta go to make it happen.
Just want to get it done, no matter where it's at.
No matter where, and mint condition. Like if I could afford to pay everybody in the band, I don't care. It's the man that plays the tambourine. I need him in there too. If you're in the band, I need every player to be a part of it. So yeah, I'd fly them all out.
So we're gonna do our first game here. I had asked you about some artists. This game is the rank game, where I'll have you rank artists' projects from your favorite to your least favorite.
Okay.
We'll start with Steve Lacy.
Okay.
We have the Steve Lacy's demo from his EP from 2017, Apollo 21 from 2019, and Gemini Rights from this year.
I'm gonna rank them. Wait, is one the highest?
One is the highest.
I'm gonna rank them in the order you listed them. The first tape to me is what made me fall in love with them. I didn't even realize, like, oh wait, this is bro from the internet. He's kind of groovy. Like, wait, let me tap into this. So that first tape was definitely like what made me fall in love with just his sound and creativity. And since then, it's not that I've lost touch. It's just like that first time was like seals it for me.
Always have like your favorite project by somebody.
Yeah.
Then we've got Erykah Badu. We've got Baduism, Mama's Gun, Worldwide Underground, New America Part 1 and Part 2, and the last, But You Can't Use My Phone.
And I can't just put them all as one. Just rank them all as number one. Okay, you said Worldwide Underground, Baduism, Mama's Gun, New America 1 and 2, and Can't Use My Phone. Worldwide Underground, I'm gonna have to put first. I think just because of the age I was at when that came out, like I think my parents I might have took the CD for real. My bad, Mom, if you're watching. That was one I like kind of snuck into my room and had in my CD player in real time. So that one I had to rank first. Then Mama's Gun, because that was like before that, but it still had a good effect on me. We were covering a lot of those songs young. So Worldwide Underground, Mama's Gun, then Baduism, the Americas 1 and 2, and I do the Can't Use My Phone last. Even though I love them all, I wish I could rank them all. And that was full of bangers. She had Big Baby Drum on there. She had a song with Drake. Like that was Erica on her new shit, on her new Kids on the Block shit. I love it. Loved it. I loved it all. It's hard to. It's like ranking all your favorite candies. Like I'm gonna eat all of them.
Then moving on, we've got Amy Winehouse.
Mm-hmm.
We've got her album Frank, Back to Black, The Other Side of Amy Winehouse, Back to Black B-Sides, the Ska EP, and Lioness Hidden Treasure.
Okay. I'm gonna say Frank for the first one, because that was my true, like, even though that is her first project, her song In My Bed was like that's how I fell in love with her. I actually saw it, I think it was like on a live Yahoo session. So who even knows what Yahoo is now? But it was like Tiny Desk before Tiny Desk. And she was singing it, and she was just so raw. I think she had on like a cargo dress. It was nothing really major. She had this dope ass band behind her, and I was just like, yo, who is this girl? And then that made me look into Frank, and then so on, and then, fell in love. So I would say Frank first. I'm going to say the Lioness second, just because that was her last body of work. That was the last album they ever put out, And the cover she did from Donny Hathaway just had me like I'm almost choked up now. It just had me like, that the fact that that was on her last project, and that song is just like so meaningful to so many people. It's just like R.I.P. Amy. But so I said Frank, and then the Lioness Project. I would say Back to Black. I almost kind of have the last project and Back to Black tie, because it's just
that's fine.
It's just hit after hit on Back to Black. You can't go wrong. Anything she made with Mark Ronson for real is just fire, bruh. Is cold. And then I guess the B sides and like the deluxe versions of the Back to Black. But yeah, man, I hate how she passed.
Yeah.
Everything, I mean, death is inevitable, but I just hate that how she passed. And then, like, the world could be so cruel. Like, she obviously was not okay. She obviously was hurting, and they still had her at the shows. They still had her in front of everybody and in the public and stuff. And I guess there's only so much people could do, but I'm like, I wish it was something more that could have been done.
I feel like there was for sure more that they could have done.
Yeah. It's like, everybody can't be a yes man. Like, could have healed sis back up, but wishful thinking. It happened how it happened. I just hate that, though. I feel like she would have still been out here making bangers. I didn't even know, like, I found out through her passing that her and Adele were really close.
Oh, I actually was unaware of that.
Yeah, they were, like, tight. Like grew up together. You don't think like everybody in the UK don't know each other, but they actually did very well. So it make you think though, like you seen the rise to fame that Adele had, and as after chasing pavement. So it just make you wonder, like, man, I wonder what Amy would have been doing right now. I'm like, Loki would have been a little bit of her competition.
Now we've got Bilal.
Yes.
We've got Firstborn Second. Denials, Delusions, and Decisions, Love for Sale, Airtight's Revenge, A Love Surreal, In Another Life, The Putbacks, and Voyage 19.
So, man, Airtight's Revenge hits differently for me just because of the time period that it came out. There's a song on there called Levels, and man, if you just want to just free yourself, I'm going to see actually the YouTube link of him singing it live. But Bilal is such a captivating artist. Like, he is truly an experience in the way that Prince was. Like, he may be singing something that's high Mariah Carey notes, and then like gets so deep and low and baritone with you. Like, this man has, what is range? So, Airtight's Revenge, Levels. It's got to be a first for me. Then Firstborn Second, just because first project is how we was introduced to him, fell in love with him this way. For real, like, Bilal was just giving us just a small piece of the pie of what he could do for real with Firstborn Second. Like, seeing what he could do live, and I got to open for him before. So that shit is different. Like, getting to experience him live, like, it's mind-blowing. So yeah, so Airtight's Revenge, Firstborn Second, I would say Back to Another Life, or Another Love, Another Love. And I'm kind of torn. His most recent projects are not up in the favorites category for me yet, but that's mostly because when they came out, I was heavily recording, and I'm kind of a weirdo. When I'm like in heavy recording mode, I can't listen to the radio. I can't listen to anything else. I gotta hone in on what I'm writing, and literally because I don't want to even accidentally start making a medley of something I heard earlier that day. And then it's like, oh shit, I can't put this out. This is completely, I want to get done like Pharrell did with Marvin Gaye. Like, nope, y'all not about to do me like that. So I had to like completely tune out. So I've heard like the singles of the newer projects that you mentioned, but I haven't fully like submerged myself in those. So everything pretty much that came out like 2014 and back. I'm like, those are my favorite things for him.
That'll work. I don't mind when people like, because I get it. I have a lot of projects for artists that I favor that
Yeah.
I couldn't.
And then it's
I would
some
have to
stuff
like
you didn't
clump
even
some
get a
of them.
chance. Yeah. Some stuff you didn't even get a chance. Hey, Ella.
So, lastly, we have Prince. I didn't write a single one of Prince's albums down because
it's too many. You would be writing still right now.
Yeah, so many projects. So I'm doing him a little differently. Just what would you say are a couple of your favorite Prince projects?
Okay. First is musicology. Super. There's a song on there called "The Marrying Kind." That's just like he talk about Missy Elliott in there. He talking about Prince rapped on that project too, and I was kind of like, what? You just out here just doing all the things. You gonna get all the musical credits, and you about to rap on your song? Like, he's just doing it. So musicology would be first, and then I mentioned earlier Purple Rain. That whole project is something for me. But there's like a I can't remember if it's like a greatest hits or just like A and B side. But my parents had, the thick CD cases that really had like 4 CDs. So like the first project was 2 and the second one was 2. I can't remember exactly what it's called now, but I could see the album cover in my head right now. It had If I Was Your Girlfriend on that project. And even that, like, who was distorting their vocals as a man back then that wasn't rapping like on some like chopped and screw stuff? Like Prince is just, you thought you had a boundary or a box you could put him in, and he's gonna leap out of every single one.
It was Sign of the Times.
Sign of the Times. There we go. I'm not that old. I've got to Google stuff too. Like I was not a buying things when that came out.
Yeah, it even for a newer artist, I some of my have still look
Google
up
is my friend.
Certain songs were on.
Absolutely. Okay, so just and then a sidebar one. He had a group he came out with prior to him passing called Third Eye Girl. It was a girl band. And they had some dope. He was like, I guess their front man, but they was all singing together, and it was like some kind of, I don't know, the vibes. Like some of it was a little alternative, like kind of rocky, little soul. I don't know. I loved it though. So Third Eye Girl, all of the stuff he put out with them is up there in my favorites with Prince.
And then, lastly, I'm gonna name 5 R&B artists, and I'll have you rank them your favorite to your least favorite.
Okay.
We've got Usher, Mary J. Blige, Her, Mariah Carey, and we'll do Trey Songz.
That's an interesting pot you gave me there. Okay. You said Usher, Auntie Mary. Who'd you say? Trey Songz, Mariah Carey. And who was the 5th person? And Her. Okay. Okay. I like one of the first MTVs to do like the making of the music videos. One of the first ones that I saw was, the first one I saw was the Thong Song video. That's another conversation. But the first one was a song by Mariah Carey. I don't remember where it was. She was at like a movie theater. And either way, I love Sis since then because I've seen that in real time. And I was always like singing in front of the TV at my babysitter's house growing up. So I'm going to have to put her first because I have like real life, I'm going to be you when I grow up things, even though I'm nobody's soprano. So Mariah, then I'll put Usher because fucking Usher. Her. Then Auntie Mary, then Trey Songz.
Okay. All right. What would you say has probably been the hardest thing for you as an artist?
The hardest thing for me as an artist, probably, to be honest, is consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah. I you know, life be lifing. I'm a grown up now. I got kids and stuff, and I'm my own like everything. I would say consistency. I have let like certain things maybe discourage me from working. Hi, baby. Mwah. I've let certain things get in the way. Sorry, blow my energy. I've let certain things discourage me from maybe staying consistent or been overcritical on myself. Maybe instead of releasing a project that I should
Right.
have, it's obviously done, it's ready. I'll have let certain things maybe discourage me putting something out when I could have, or taking that extra leap. So I would say that may be the biggest. Before anything else, I could be my own worst enemies when it comes to doing stuff, or just even second guessing myself. Doubt can be a super enemy. Should be here in a second. But yeah, it can be that. And then, you know, you got little people depending on you. And I'm not a mainstream artist. Like, you know, I'm getting it out the mud with me and my team. We doing everything. We're funding ourselves. Every piece of anything. The wardrobe, the gas to get there, the studio time, the promotion, the ads, the flyers, the logos. Like, people, it makes me respect the artists that I grew up admiring a lot more, knowing how much you don't just show up and a project is made, or show up and now you're a millionaire, or show up, you know, and now you're famous. Like, it really, as the kids say, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So
A lot goes behind it.
knowing that is the blessing in it, that I know I may procrastinate or I may second guess. I'm in a really good space now with my village and my team and my management, to where like if I have any doubts, they're reassured, and I'm just able to reel myself back in when I need to be put back on track. So I'm grateful for that.
What would you say has probably been the most rewarding thing for you in your music career thus far?
The most rewarding thing has been both seeing like my children and my parents at an event, or coming to see me perform. Shh, Carter, she's not here. They got to see me perform at the Levitt last summer, and my kids were like, "That's my mommy," and they was like screaming and stuff. And then my parents were holding them, and they were super proud of me too, and taking pictures and stuff like that. I had mentioned that I opened for Bilal before, and it just happened to fall on the eve of my mom's birthday, and so she came to the show, and it was a late night show, and I got to have everybody sing happy birthday to her and acknowledge her, and then she got to see me perform for her.
Hey.
Sorry, that's my son.
Oh, you're good.
But that's felt better than anything. My kids being excited and like proud of me and happy to be like, that's my mommy up there, and then my parents being like, you know, happy for me and not, you know, trying to convince me of anything else. They there with their cameras out. They trying to get crowd reactions. They trying to get the good audio, the clear picture. My dad might bring multiple cameras now. Like, that feels good. And they could be anywhere else. They could be doing anything else, and then they choose to show up for me. So I love that.
Have you got to do many music videos yet?
I've featured in a lot. I've been a role in more videos than I've had for myself. I actually just have one personal one out, the video for You Got Me. But that's all about to change very, very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. I have some live performances that I have on my YouTube channel now that I have recorded with Chicken Chop. Shout outs to Chop. But coming soon. I'm glad you asked that. Coming very soon. There'll be more footage of me, more visuals. I'm actually very excited to bring my concepts to life. I have a very big imagination, so hoping I can show off my acting chops more often.
Speaking of Chop, you mentioned that you got to do a live audio performance at the Chicken Coop with Chicken Chop. What was that like?
It was so fun. We were like talking about Kevin Samuels before we even started. Just having good banter. It was dope. I had a good time. It was kind of still chilly out, so I had my big coat on. I would like to go back now that it's warm out and do another lap. But it was such a good time. Chop's nothing but a gentleman. It's funny. I don't play basketball, so I guess that would have been nice if I would have dribbled a ball or something. Try to make a shot. That's not my ministry. But yeah, it was dope. Good vibes all
And
around.
I know recently you also got to do a Tiny Desk performance.
Yes, I actually also shot that with Chop. Yeah, well, that was my submission.
How was that?
Man, I have never submitted for any type of vocal competition before, so it was nerve-wracking. And then it was not like your typical, like I didn't go on a game show or anything. It was all virtual.
Right.
And seeing all the, like, so many people all over the world submitted, and then to see my things even on the website, you can still look it up on there now. Even though I didn't win, it felt good to even just take that roll the dice on myself. Like, and it led to other things. It's been it's probably my most viral, most viewed video on my YouTube channel. And I had a lot of support. A lot of people helped share that again and again and again, to where even though maybe I didn't win, but I got a whole new, I tapped in with a new audience and new people that weren't privy to me before. So that made me feel good that I even tried, because I would talk myself out of stuff like that in the past. Like, you won't win anyway, or, you know, any of those doubting things. And it just, like, I felt like I already won just because I submitted, just because I went ahead and actually did the thing. Nobody could tell me I didn't win.
Right.
I didn't win.
You should always bet on yourself.
Yeah, it felt good. And then, like, what we came out with was amazing. It's actually the song we submitted was Wait. It's gonna be I'm gonna be some water. It's okay. I'm gonna be releasing that here coming soon. It's an interlude, but it's been getting such good feedback when I perform it live in that video. So getting a lot of feedback. So that's gonna be coming very, very soon.
All right.
Mom, is that A-Fest scissors?
No, they're mine.
What would you say is more important to you, your monthly listeners on Spotify or your followers?
They're blue scissors.
I hope my listeners are my followers. let that match up. But I guess the followers a little bit more, just because I'm hoping that they stick around. You could listen to me one day and never push play again. But if you follow me, hopefully I'll be in your rotation. I'll seep into your algorithms, and you'll see me amongst all the other things you seeing and searching or listening to. And then, you know, I keep you engaged.
Who would you say is an artist that you feel like doesn't get enough recognition or credit to their name for what they've contributed to the music industry?
I would say, I think my girl Smell the Product does not get enough credit. I don't think she get enough love. She is so dope. I know you know. She is so dope. And then it's like her and her brother and like her team getting it out the mud. Like, they got a whole warehouse, they got a ranch now. And I've been following her since before they didn't have any of that. So it's inspiring for me to see not only like a woman, but a single mother, you know, literally do everything in house. We about to do it. Oh, you need merch? Okay, now we have a warehouse. We can press multiple t-shirts at a time in here. I'm gonna hire my cousin and my mom and my son to be my employees. So we're gonna keep circulating this dollar within the house. You know, I think even just as a businesswoman, people be sleeping on her. And then she got bars, like actual bars, can out-rap most of these rappers, men or woman or non-binary, whatever. She gonna rap you under the table. I feel like sis needs the Grammys. This needs to be at the award shows. This needs to be. And she just did a song with Ludacris and somebody else. She's been doing more like mainstream features and
She
stuff.
was on Tech Nine's last album.
She's done a bunch of stuff with Tech Nine, so I know they like go back. But yeah, I want to see more of her. I want her to get more flowers on in real time.
Our next game we have is This or That, where I'll present two options to you, and you'll tell me which one you would rather have. When it's two artists, it's typically who would you rather listening to. But my first question is, who would you rather have a track produced by, Pharrell or Kanye?
Pharrell.
Pharrell. And then, Who would you rather ride around to? Cardi B or
Mom,
Cardi B or who?
Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj.
Write a rap for them.
Ride around to, like cruising the car.
Oh,
No,
man,
you went out.
Nikki.
Nikki? Kevin Gates or Joyner Lucas?
Joyner.
Joyner? Lupe Fiasco or Wale?
Look at my hat.
I would say Wale, I'll be honest. I was about to say, he be problematic sometimes, but I'm still say Wale off the music.
Wiz Khalifa or Young Thug?
Wiz.
Wiz? Tory Lanez or Chris Brown?
Both very problematic.
Very problematic.
But if we're thinking of music alone, I guess I was definitely a Chris Brown friend before I was a Tory Lanez friend, so I'll say Chris Brown.
Right. Bruno Mars or The Weeknd?
Bruno. Bruno Mars for sure. I gonna get canceled.
Then we've got Erykah Badu or Lauryn Hill?
That's a toughie.
These last ones usually.
They're really tough. Man, I'm gonna say Erica. Yeah,
Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson?
Michael.
Michael. Music Soul Child or Drew Hill?
What? That's messed up. You know you did something there. How you gonna do that? What? Music against Drew Hill? Drew Hill.
Drew Hill. DMX or Ja Rule?
This is not fair. I was a big Murder Inc. baby, but mostly because I had a crush on Charlie Baltimore, and you didn't put her on the list, so I'm gonna have to say DMX. If it was DMX with Charlie, I would have to give it to Charlie.
Jay-Z or Nas?
Stirred up the pizza.
I say Nas.
Nas. Tupac or Biggie?
Mom,
Biggie.
thank you.
And then
My
last,
name is not
Keith
Mickey.
Sweat or Luther Vandross?
Mom, my name is not Mickey. My name is not Mickey.
Luther.
My name is not Mickey.
This was tough. I'm gonna have a headache after this. Like, can I live with my decisions? Okay, Carter.
So we've got your next question here is, what is your idea of making it in the music?
My name is Carter.
For me, making it would be to be like a household name. Go anywhere and somebody knows who I am. And then I'm also, because everybody knows who I am, money is no object. I can, my family's straight, my kids are straight. I would feel like I made it.
All right. What would be some advice you would give to your younger self or to a younger person wanting to pursue music? What's some advice you'd give?
I'll answer both. To somebody younger just wanting to do music, I would say take these workshops or gather whatever resources in your community. Go show up to the events. Go to your culture works places and your places that are built for the arts. I know a lot of the certain communities don't get access to, we're not the first for grant picks or anything. A lot of times we don't even know about the stuff until it's already over. So I would say don't be afraid to show up in white spaces or in your own Black spaces or whatever spaces and get the information, get the knowledge. It's nothing wrong there. Regardless of what people think, there are people that don't feel like it's robbery to share the knowledge with you. You just got to be receptive and be in the right spaces to where people are willing to pour into you. So take the pours. I would tell a younger artist, take that pouring when somebody is pouring into you. And since I'm sensitive as fuck, grown and sensitive, but artists are, sensitive about their stuff. And I would say stay true to yourself, but don't be afraid to be poured into. To my younger self, I would tell myself not to hold back. I feel like even though I've been singing for a long time, I didn't really hear my voice and what it could do until I was getting older.
Right.
It was happening in real time on stage, which is a beautiful thing. But then I think like, dang, I didn't even know I could hit that note. I could have been doing this. Could have been doing this a while. I didn't even know I could tap in like that. I could have been doing this a long time ago, but I was almost scared of my own potential, or maybe afraid to mess up too. So don't be afraid to mess up. You're gonna have times you forget the words or your voice will crack, and it's gonna happen, and then the moment's gonna be over.
Yeah, it'll
You know,
pass.
give
moment will
yourself
pass.
some grace. You know, people fuck up. Give yourself some grace, and yeah, just don't hold back.
Thank you, Kurt Bob. Appreciate that, bro.
Yes.
My last question before we talk about your discography that you have on your streaming on Spotify and Apple is, what change do you want to see in your community?
I want to see more of my community willing to support the local artists while we're here. I don't want it to have to be, oh, now they moved to Atlanta, so now we can support them, or now we see them in a picture with this person, so let's support them. Support us now, real time, when you could pull up on us at Kroger's. You could, I'm touchable, I'm reachable, you know. Support me now where you could access me, I could pull up on you, you know. I would say that. I feel like a lot of some of the stuff here is like popularity contests, or like it's on trend instead of like who really got it out here. And this I'm in Ohio, period, but especially Dayton, there's so much talent here. There's some, and it's so much so that we could all eat. We really could all eat. It ain't gotta be no competition. It ain't gotta be it's only one boss of the city or whatever dumb shit people be on. Like, we could all eat. We could all work together. Collaborate on these events and bring people out and keep art in the city. Because we're the adults now. If we don't build things that will last, then what are our kids gonna have? Yeah. Granted that they stay, they're raised in this community too. So
I agree, because Dayton has a lot of talent, and it is like what you're saying. They don't support each other. It's a popularity contest. You can look at cities like Chicago. They've got 20 different rappers that are all eating good out that city.
Yeah, and then it's like it can only be one person from here, or because it's only got to be one, it's got to be none of us, because nobody could, support the other person, but. I think it's a lot of power in knowing that, like, what you got going on, don't take nothing away from what I got going on. And when we come together, we could elevate all of it. It don't have to be like, oh, only I can shine right now, or only they can shine, or they're shining more than me. We got to end that. Like, it don't have to be any of that. Carter, what are you doing?
So, going into your discography of the stuff that is on your Spotify and Apple, what was the creative process for You Got Me with Trip Fontaine?
Yes. So when I recorded You Got Me, that was actually like at the very beginning of the pandemic. I split the COVIDs up into like 1 and 2. So first COVID, I say that. So it was at that, the producer that did You Got Me was my homie Brandon B. Jazz Scott out of Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to B. Jazz. He actually did my song Wait, that'll be coming out, and he did Body Language and a lot of other stuff that y'all see coming out. He's a musician that I actually perform with often, but then he's my producer. So this particular time, we set out like we got one night. I could come into the city one night and leave in the morning. And so that's what we did. So I got there in the evening. I can't remember whose birthday it was or something. It was like a lot of food and party spirit around. And we got in the studio and I let Trip know I was going to be in the city and to come pull up and let's just see what could happen. I didn't know, we didn't have like a set thing planned. We just like, let's get as much as we can in this next 24 hours. Let's just get it done. So the first 3 beats that B Jazz played for me, I was like, okay, save that one. Okay, save that one. I'm about to write to it. Okay, save that one. Like I couldn't, it was like the words were just oozing out of me. And we wrote, I wrote and recorded a whole song right there when Trip was there. It just wasn't You Got Me. It wasn't the one he ended up being on. So we recorded 2 songs that night. We got up early the next morning, and he's like, "Man, we got time. You trying to knock one more out?" And I was like, "Bet." And we recorded "You Got Me," but it had space on there for a verse, and we both kind of looked at each other like, "Trip. He was here yesterday. This is where he's supposed to be right now." And on the highway, and BJ, if he was watching, he would comment like, "C's gonna bug me, and you need to bug me to send you the song." So I'm on the highway riding back to the city, like, bruh, send me the song, because I need to send it to Trip so we can set it up so I can have him record this verse. And as soon as BJ sent it to me, I think I was already texting Trip like, "Listen, I got the perfect song." As soon as me and BJ got done recording, we were like, "Trip needs to be on this. Hit me up as soon as you listen to this." So we did that, and he sent me like a voice note, like, you know, when you record your voice on your phone. He sent me a voice note like maybe the next day of the verse that he ended up recording on the song. I was screaming like, "You just wrote that? Oh, my song for my song? Like, you just was about to hit us like that, the metaphors and stuff." So yeah, it was always destined. And we actually got to perform it live together for the first time when I did Broken English earlier this year. So even though it's been out for a little while, like, me and Trip never performed it together. So that was super dope thing that got to happen this year. I'm excited about, but it was just all like divine timing.
Right.
And anytime I get it in the studio with BJazz, we gonna make at least 3 bangers. At least 3.
And then we got your track Energy. What was the creative process behind Energy?
Right. So I kind of touched on that a little bit ago. It was kind of spur of the moment. I had came to kick it and sip some wine, and it turned into a whole session where I actually met Mojo, and within that like first hour of us just meeting and politicking, he plugged his laptop, and he actually didn't come to work either. I think it was just supposed to be like a meeting of the minds for real, and he had his laptop, but he didn't have the correct like charger cord, so we were like racing against the clock trying to bounce down songs to the computer that was at the studio, off of his computer before it died. And so each song that he played me a little snippet of, I have my phone out, which I typically don't do. I typically prefer to write like on paper and actually write, but if I don't have a choice, I'll do the millennial thing, write it in my phone. And I wrote a little bit to each beat that he played. And granted, he couldn't give me a long snippet of any of this because we was racing against the time. But when somehow Energy might have been the only one that actually, or the beat that I wrote to for Energy, been the only one that fully made it over to the other computer. So he just had that on repeat. I'm writing my little bars, talking my shit, my phone, and I don't know how much time had passed. Honestly, he was like, "Man, do you got anything? Like, I got this on a loop. Do you have anything?" And I sang him the intro, the first verse, and the hook. And when I looked up, he was like running, plugging in mics, plugging in stuff. Like, "Okay, you ready? I didn't know you had it like that." So I was like, yeah, I'm kind of nice. Let's do it. So
I'm kind of nice.
You know, fast forward several hours later, we had a gym by 7. It was actually 7:26 a.m. on the dot. I remember because I'm like, I need to remember this. So when they asked me on my Hollywood story, like, "Tell me about this," or when I'm on Overlooked Artist hosting, I can say, "Oh yes, it was exactly 7:26 a.m. in the morning. We bounced the song down, and then I didn't go to sleep for another like 4 hours because I was just like, I don't know. I had like a internal joy. I was on my own high off of, you know, getting that off my chest. I need to get that off my chest.
And then that lastly brings us to your newest release from January, Body Language. What was the process behind it?
So with Body Language, I don't know if you heard of this app called Voicey.
I have not.
So it's kind of like artists and rappers and producers could get on there, and you could either like record over other people's beats, or you could put beats on there. You could network with other artists and just kind of record. I got hip to it during the pandemic, so it was kind of like my little virtual open mic if you will. I was using that just to get all my creative ideas. Sometimes I do covers, sometimes I write something new. And the body language was born from the first ever voicey I did where I actually like wrote something. And obviously I don't want to like plagiarize on the person's beat that I recorded it to. So, and how a lot of times if I don't write to something Be Jazz made, I'll teach him a song. I may come with a full song written that just doesn't have any music to it, and I'll sing it to him until we're both blue in the face, and we'll compose around what I wrote. So when I had body language, I sat next to him, next to the keyboard. He listened to maybe the original version one time, and after that I was like, I don't want you to get stuck on that idea. Just hear, you see where that vibe was, now hear my words and play around that. And that's basically, we kept singing and rehearsing, and we hear something that we liked that felt good, and he's like, okay, let's start over, start from the top, sing it again. And we just kind of kept rehearsing it until it was ready to put down. And then I didn't even record the vocals when we composed the beat. I did the vocals at a later date. But yeah, that was fire. And that shit is unmatched. It's not a lot of people that you can, because I'm not telling him like hit the F key and then the G. Like, it's none of that. I'm like, okay, this is the idea. I'm feeling some sexy, sensual vibe like this, and I sing it to him, and he just gets it. And it's so dope to have people in your space that you could create with that understand like your artistic language. That shit's unmatched. That is unmatched. Because I done had people that wanted to work with me, and they send me stuff that I'm just like, yo, have you met me? Have you listened to anything that I've done? And not to put a box on myself, because I could write anything. I feel like I could write anything, but then there's certain stuff that it hits different when somebody had you in mind.
Right.
They thought like, okay, let me cater to this person's style, or can just be right there with you. Like, I understand what you're describing. He said fucking rainbows and puppies. Got it. There's the vibe. And then he makes it happen. So that was beautiful with Be Jazz. We didn't even, like I said, I didn't even record the vocals. We was just having our own little choir rehearsal, getting that down to where it was ready to be body language.
All right. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yes, indeed. Y'all follow me on my YouTube. It's Ceeofdreams. Tap into all the visuals I'm about to be coming out with. Places I'm going to be coming up. I'm going to be at the Lost in Translation open mic. My girl Poetic is hosting that on June 28th. I'm going to be at the Jazz and Rib Festival in Columbus, Ohio. I believe that's in July. But Robert Glasper is the headliner, and I'm going to meet him. I'm going to meet whoever's up there. I'm making it a point this year to meet the headliners, because it's freaking Robert Glasper. We're going to share a stage, like, not at the same time, but we will have touched the same stage.
That's
and
awesome.
That's like chef kiss. That's awesome.
Well,
But yeah, tapped in. I don't know if somebody said something about links to my music. If you go to my bio, my links are there. I have a website. It's unitedmasters.com/Ceeofdreams. In my bio, my pictures, upcoming dates, my music, any videos that I've ever been in, music videos of mine and anybody else's, it's all on there. And then my booking info too. My manager in there. If anybody want to book your girl.
So, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, all of Ceeofdreams links will be in the description. Her Facebook, her Instagram, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube will all be linked, along with our actual website on United Masters. Thanks for coming on, C.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
My son's trying to say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
You doing good?
Yeah, it's a short attention span. He just had to show his face. Thank you so much for having me, man. This was welcome. Fun. You had me on my toes.
I'm glad you had a good time. I hope to have you back on again soon. I kind of want to revisit artists after a little bit of time too. Catch up and see what's been new.
For sure. Anytime.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good night. Peace.
You too.